We're now going to finish our photosynthesis story talking about how do you change the rate of photosynthesis. So remember, rate means speed or how much in a way as well. So the faster you do photosynthesis, probably the more you do photosynthesis. So how do you increase the speed or the rate at which a plant does photosynthesis? The rate at which a plant can grow. So first one, probably pretty obvious, light intensity. More light, the more intensive light, especially when we talk about red and blue light, the more the rate of photosynthesis will increase. So, in the dark, not really doing photosynthesis, maybe the Calvin cycle, but not the light reactions. So as the light intensity increases, the light reaction speed increases, the rate increases. Now notice it does not increase forever. And that's because you have a maximum number of chloroplasts in the plant. You have a maximum number of photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So they can only work so fast. But the more light, you can get more of them activated, right? More chloroplasts activated, more photosystems activated. So you would be increasing the rate until you maxed out. And then that's about it. So next one would be carbon dioxide. So remember, light would be about the light reactions. Well, carbon dioxide levels would be about the Calvin cycle. So the more you increase the carbon dioxide, the faster the rate of photosynthesis will occur. Now, of course, we're affecting the Calvin cycle here. So as you increase carbon dioxide into the plant cell, then the rate of the Calvin cycle is going to increase, or the rate of photosynthesis overall. But again, you only have so many chloroplasts. So you finally reach a maximum where all your chloroplasts are filled with carbon dioxide. But yes, you need more carbon dioxide, you increase the rate. Finally, temperature. So as we talked about in Unit 1, enzymes, which are proteins, are affected by temperature. Cold temperature, high temperature. So enzymes are what runs both the light reactions and the Calvin cycle. So what this tells you is that there is some sort of magic temperature, a magic temperature in which these enzymes love to work at and will work their best at. And there's a temperature that's too low, enzymes are working slower. A temperature that's too high, the enzymes are working slower. And then there's that happy middle temperature where the enzymes are working at their most effective and best way. So that is how temperature could affect the rate of photosynthesis. Now, just in the end, want to make sure that when we think back to the light reactions and the Calvin cycle, where are these atoms coming from? Because they're not made by the plant. The plant is simply stealing atoms to make glucose. So where are they stealing the atoms from? Well, the carbon from the carbon dioxide is being used to make glucose. The oxygen from the carbon dioxide is being used to make glucose. The hydrogen from the water is being used to make glucose. But the oxygen from the water is what is waste. That's what's given out into the air. So the oxygen from the water is not part of the glucose. It gets put right back into the air. So again, carbon from carbon dioxide into the glucose. Oxygen from the carbon dioxide into the glucose. Hydrogen from the water into the glucose. So that would be something that would be asked of you to understand where it comes from, because atoms are not created or destroyed, right? In chemistry, they are just simply converted from one kind of chemical to another kind of chemical. And then just make sure you are clear with your overall picture of photosynthesis. Light enters the light reactions. Water enters the light reactions. Waste product is oxygen. From the light reactions, we have ATP, NADPH, which what does that really mean? Hydrogen ions and electrons are now entering the Calvin cycle. Carbon dioxide enters the Calvin cycle, and the main product is glucose. G3P turned into glucose. Now, what does the plant do with that glucose? It can make cell walls that helps it grow. It could store it as starch. And of course, we've talked about the other things that can make proteins, amino acids, and lipids. All can be made from G3P. So everything that the plant does, when it looks like it just grows out of the soil, it grows out of the soil by combining water from the ground and carbon dioxide from the air and making all of the parts that allow it to grow. And that ends Unit 3.